Humanity absolutely loves to flex its big, wrinkly brain tech. We kind of consider ourselves the apex of intelligence, right? The masters of the physical universe, looking down on the cosmos from our pedestals of absolute genius. I mean, we have literally shaped silicon and lightning to do our bidding.
Just look at these achievements. We designed things like the Nintendo 64's reality signal processor, a beast running at 62.5 megahertz with 32 128-bit vector registers, executing complex geometry transformations and lighting calculations through custom microcode. We've got the PlayStation's geometry transformation engine mounted as a secondary coprocessor, mathematically accelerating vector and matrix calculations so we can play Spyro in glorious perspective-corrected 32-bit. It is, frankly, a symphony of mathematical perfection.
But okay, let's violently pivot for a second, because this brilliant technological prowess illustrates a terrifying truth. Historically, when we aren't building gaming powerhouses or mapping the human genome, our so-called scientists have operated with the common sense of a moth and a microwave. The sheer volume of dumb bitch juice consumed by our ancestors in the name of progress is absolutely staggering.
So, welcome to Part 1, Science's Total Fever Dream, when progress goes completely off the rails.
Part 2, the human grounding wire, raw dogging the heavens. Today we're looking at 3 distinct times in human history where scientific progress was just a series of high-octane oopsies, moments where the supposed smartest guys in the room drove humanity straight off a cliff. So meet George Wilhelm Richmond. He was an 18th century Russian physicist who was absolutely frothing at the gash to study lightning. Now, studying naturally occurring electrical phenomenon is a dangerous business, but hey, someone has to do it, right? Might as well be the guy with passion. Richmond designed this rudimentary electrometer. His goal was to quantify the scale and intensity of a lightning bolt, which, to be fair, is a totally reasonable question if you're a lord of logic. He slammed an insulated iron rod straight through the roof of his house in St. Petersburg. The rod collected the atmospheric charge, which was then diverted to a secondary rod with a linen thread attached to it. The angle of the thread's deflection would theoretically measure the charge. Easy enough, right? So the crucial point is execution. Let's look at his methodology here. Step 1, rod through roof. Step 2, wait for storm. Step 3, well, he completely forgot the most important rule of playing with sky electricity. He failed to properly ground his setup. If you're going to raw dog the heavens, you need to give any sudden, dangerous electrical surges an escape route that isn't your own biological meat sack. On August 6, 1753, a massive storm rolled in. Richmond rushed to his ungrounded rod with his assistant to take a measurement.
As he leaned in, boom, a 4-inch blue-white ball of fire shot directly out from the rod and hit him straight in the forehead. He was exodia obliterated, literally, instantly. The concussive blast of the electrical discharge was so high-octane that it knocked his witness completely unconscious, ripped the heavy wooden doors of his lab right off their hinges, and blew Richmond's left shoe wide open from where the bolt exited his body. A truly mind-blowing discovery, guys. Just definitely not the one he was looking for.
Moving on to Part 3, San Quentin's nut jobs, the manly hormone. Okay, stepping out of the blast zone, let's jump to the 20th century. If you think your daily grind is crappy, try being a prisoner under the medical care of Dr. Leo Stanley. He was the chief surgeon at California's San Quentin prison starting in 1913, and man, this guy was a piece of work. Dr. Stanley was a proud eugenicist who genuinely believed he could single-handedly rid the world of crime. While other researchers were looking at physical characteristics, Stanley proposed that criminality and aging were caused by issues within the endocrine glands, specifically low testosterone. You know, the manly hormone? The stuff that grows your bones, builds your muscles, and makes you want to ram your rod into anything remotely attractive? According to Stanley, if you fix the testosterone, you fix the criminal. And this is where things get completely unhinged. Stanley began a legendary spree of what we can only describe as nut jobs. He started removing the testicles of freshly executed prisoners and literally slapping them into the sacks of senile, aging old inmates to rejuvenate them. He claimed they bounced around with the strength of younger men afterwards. He was so obsessed with his tender testicle transfer that he performed over 10,000 of these procedures. 10,000. Let that sink in.
Now, what happens when a prison surgeon doing 10,000 testicular implants runs out of freshly executed human donors? Well, he gets creative. He started sourcing donations from animals. Goats, rams, boars, and deer all had their junk harvested. In some cases, he didn't even bother with surgical implantation. Nope, he just took a mashed up mixture of animal man parts and injected it directly into the prisoners' bellies like some sort of cursed smoothie. Shockingly, and I'm using that word with heavy sarcasm here, stuffing goat junk into a bank robber's stomach didn't actually cure crime. As the study of endocrinology advanced, fellow doctors started calling Stanley out on his complete nonsense, disregarding his life's work as utter insanity. Completely demoralized, he retired in 1951, proving once and for all that you cannot, in fact, punch your way to world peace using a boar's reproductive organs.
Part 4, The Forbidden Slim Jim, Snorting Your Ancestors. Let's pivot back to 12th century Europe, an era where medical scholars were basically just faffing about in the dark. At the time, European academics were eagerly translating ancient Arabic medical texts to find the next great cure-all.
So, the crucial point here revolves around a substance called mumia. In the original Arabic and Persian texts, mumia was a naturally occurring black tar, like bitumen or pitch, found around the Dead Sea. It was actually a great natural antiseptic. You'd apply this sable slop to an open wound to stop bleeding. But thanks to a hilariously fatal typo, European translators saw the word mumia, saw some context clues about Egyptian embalming which used pitch, and concluded the medical text was prescribing literal, physical, embalmed Egyptian mummies.
Suddenly, you had a continent-wide craze of literal medical cannibalism. Every apothecary in Europe was bombarding Egyptian traders for ancient remains. People were taking these dusty, busty corpses, grinding them up into a fine powder, and just consuming them daily. Feeling sad? Chow down on some mummy dust to cure your depression. Got a cut? Slather corpse paste on it. Have a nosebleed? Well, ironically enough, they literally snorted ground-up mummy right up their schnozzes to cure nosebleeds.
And here is the final disgusting twist, because capitalism always finds a way. With such high demand and a limited supply of ancient pharaohs, a counterfeit market boomed. Apothecaries and traders began using freshly deceased, diseased bodies, embalming them quickly, and selling them as authentic remains. So instead of snapping into a 3,000-year-old ancient Egyptian Slim Jim, these 12th century Europeans were munching on a malarial amalgamation of some freshly dead peasant named Monty. It took until the Renaissance for scholars to retranslate the text and realize they'd been eating stinking cadavers for literally no reason.
Let's bring this all back to today. We live in an era where we worry about complex, highly theoretical problems. We have legal scholars and researchers terrified of existential risks, like transformative artificial intelligence escaping its containment and causing human extinction, or engineered pandemics, or, God forbid, your N64 emulator suffering from excessive vector pipeline stalls. The modern world is stressful.
But here is your cynical reassurance for the day, and what I really want you to take away from this explainer. Despite our modern problems, despite the looming threats of rogue AI or whatever global crisis is on the news, at least we have moved past the era of medical cannibalism. At least you aren't being forced to snort a diseased counterfeit mummy to cure a headache, and at least you aren't stuck in a 1930s prison having a goat's junk slammed in your sack by a mad doctor. Science has made some progress.
So as we look to the future and attempt to navigate the wild frontiers of technology without accidentally deleting ourselves, you kind of have to ask, what totally normal thing are we doing today that people in 500 years will think is absolute, utter insanity? Keep questioning, keep learning, and make sure you subscribe to keep your forehead entirely free of ball lightning. I'll catch you in the next explainer.